John Grouse.
Brad, how do you explain that switch just flipping in the fourth quarter, where for a stretch there you guys looked as bad as you have during this entire run, and then all of a sudden you made that huge run to take a lead?
Well, we were doing some things differently that I thought were good for the most part up until that point, and then I think we just chose to maintain the right mindset. Instead of getting down, instead of being concerned with what had happened up to this point, it was more about playing the right way and being together and, letting the chips fall where they may at the end. Obviously, that's another heartbreaking loss, but that feels a little bit different than it did on Sunday.
Gary Washburn.
Hey, Brad, is it just the point of tipping your cap to a player who just kind of did some out of his mind things in the last minute?
Yeah, I think the two things that put them in position to win the game were obviously Luka's two monstrous shots. And, I just watched them because I wanted to say, like, what could we have done better? And certainly, Kimba ran at him on the last one. Aaron kept him up high. I think it's hard when you're in the bonus and you don't want to switch up into his airspace and foul. I think obviously we wanted to put two on him. We tried to run two at him a lot, but we were just a step behind. But I thought that, that happens, and he just hit two tremendous shots. So kudos to him. That happens sometimes when you play well, and so there's an encouraging side to that. The problem is that we're in the position we're in because we haven't always played well. But we did in those last 5 minutes.
Adam Himmelsbach.
Brad, it seems like on a lot of your teams in the past, like a loss like Sundays, you would see it that next game, like the intensity, especially defensively, would be at a different level. And it didn't seem like that was really there today. Is that either concerning or surprising, or did you feel that was the case?
I didn't feel that was the case as much. They're shot makers. They're hard to guard. They spread you out. So in person, I didn't feel that. Maybe I don't know how it looked on TV or what was being described or whatever, but no. And, I do think we're not as good defensively as we have been in the last few years. So that's another part of it, right? And I think that we've played hard in the last 3 games for the better part of them. Obviously the last 15 minutes of New Orleans wasn't pretty, but I think we've improved in that area, but I still don't think we're, where you want to be if you want to be good.
Keith Smith.
Brad, you said you went back and watched those last couple of shots by Luka. Hey, the second to last one, is that something that Jalen and Daniel should be switching that play, or was that? Did you think you needed to?
It's late clock. I think in an ideal world you probably run two, but like the switching 1 through 5 and putting Jalen on Cauley-Stein was a big part of us getting back in it, right? And so they started bringing Tice up a little bit with Finney Smith or with James Johnson at the start of it, but Tice does a good job of challenging shots, and in fact he's one of our better guys at challenging shots because his length impacts people up there on the ball. And, when a guy is shaking and raising like that, the only thing that you maybe do different would be to run at him instead of, and put two on him in that moment. But our guys have done a really good job up to that point. And then the last one was ridiculous. Kimba was right there. Aaron was right there. I'm not gonna be too hard on our guys for those last 2 shots that Luka Doncic just made.
Bob Schron.
Thanks, Brandon. Coach, yeah, it's the same question. You kind of alluded to it, but the competitive spirit was there. Did the team tell you something by the way they fought their way back into it after the fourth quarter was unfolding the way it was up until that point?
I think what you get as a coach are little tidbits of hope, Bob, but you get told something over the course of a season. You know, you get real information over the course of 20, 30, 40, 50 games. We can play with that kind of poise in the last 5 minutes of games the rest of the year, and we'll be better than we've been up to this point. But, you know, we have to improve a lot. Like, you know, we had some real good individual performances. I thought, you know, obviously I'm looking at the stat sheet. Jalen, Jason, and Kimba all had big moments. And, you know, but it wasn't quite enough to get us over the top. And again, it took two tremendous shots by a great player to beat us.
Gary Washburn.
Hey, Brad, I know the fourth quarter, the second half, you guys played well enough to win. But putting them in the bonus with, I think, 7 minutes left, how does that cripple you from trying to rally and make a comeback?
It's a killer. It's a killer, Garrett. And the thing about it is that, you know, they had a foul to give on the last play. And I know I heard Rick yelling, give it. Like, I think they wanted to give the foul, right? We don't have a foul to give. So if we can switch up into Doncic's airspace at 50 feet and foul him, that's a totally different deal, you know. And we've got to balance. We're trying to be more physical because we need to be, but we've got to balance that with fouling. And that's you know, I think we're getting a lot of fouls that, you know, we can improve upon.
All right, we'll wrap it up right there. Thanks, Coach.